Welcome back to the Caribou Data Science channel. This is midnight. This is an impromptu Midnight Madness. This is a Friday night Midnight Madness. And as the title suggests, we're going to go to part 2 of our currently 3-part has to do with base R, data visualization, plotting with base R. The question is, why would you want to learn this? Well, maybe if you wind up in an alternate universe where there is no tidyverse. Okay, so there's no tidyverse, do ggplot2. And also, sometimes it is a little simpler to use base R plotting than it is to use ggplot2. Okay, but hopefully you'll never be in a situation where you will have to use this, of course. But of course, first of all, thanks so much for stopping by. If you are watching this and you're in the background, stop by that chat session and pop in and say hi to me, okay? And of course, click the subscribe button to go along with that. So let's just take a look at our code. We started with some, this is a Quattro document, so we'll ultimately produce an HTML document. This sets the size for the default size for the visualizations, the plots, and we just got a little bit of data here, okay? X and Y. So then you start out with your basic plot. Main. The type is the key. This tells us what it is. P is it's a scatter plot. Points. CEX should be the size of the figure. So if it's a scatter plot, then the dots should be size 2, and also you see in a minute you got other things. So let's go ahead and just look at these one at a time. Let's just get a little bit of code right here running, a little data. Okay. All right. Make sure that did run. There it is. Okay, good. So our first plot, as you can see, is going to be a simple scatter plot. It's points. So this, again, the CEX changes the size of the points. Okay. And a simple XY plot. The main is the main title. It's called points. Let's just run this and see what happens here. And it will take a minute to fire up our server here. Now, I'll just mention here, if you're familiar with Quattro Pro, Quattro Pro is a successor to R Markdown, but the difference is R Markdown only work with R. Quattro Pro will work with R, work with Python, or work with Julia, and you can use it to create multiple different types of documents: HTML, PDF, DocX, PowerPoints, and all kinds of stuff like that. And you notice it doesn't actually display the plot, okay? So let's take a look down here. Then this plot next is going to be a line plot again. The LWD means the thickness of the line. Let's just make this a little more thicker so we can really see what's going on here, okay? Again, the X and Y plot. Now we got both points and lines. So type B. Let's make this 4. Let's make this 4. Alright. Now, but points and lines, overlapping points and lines, okay? Alright. Histograms like vertical lines. This is kind of an interesting one. Stair steps. Let's just make the stair steps a little thicker, okay? Then we got a other stair steps that starts with from the top left. So let's take this. So the other one must start from the bottom left or something. I don't know what that means. Anyway, we'll see. And this is the most interesting one of all. This is a no plot. Now, I suppose you might use this if you wanted to, like, I don't know. I can't think of a good example of using no plot. So let's go ahead and just take a look here and see what's going on. The advantage of using the HTML format, it doesn't require any additional software, okay? But I believe if you want to create, say, a PDF or a docx, then you have to install, we'll find out, then you have to install another piece of software, okay? And it does create a preview. Now you can see this made the dots a little bigger, okay? Let's come over here. Now if I can remember where I actually saved this. I think it's in Documents. So you can see here now. If you come back over here quickly, okay, you'll see back at the top here. It says code fold true. And what the code fold does, it hides the code. So you can click here next to code, and you get your code. Okay, and again, remember the CX2 changes the size of the figure that plots here, okay? Then you got a nice thick line here. Now you got both line. Notice how big these dots, because these were a size, yes, the line and the dots are size 4, so you can't misinterpret those, okay? So what this does is, the line goes through the center of the dot. See, up here it's stopped, but down here it goes through this. So that could be kind of interesting, maybe for like a linear regression or something like that. Maybe you can actually see, because it may in fact not go directly through the center. It's interesting, okay. Now this one's kind of curious. Histogram like vertical line. So what does this mean? This just means it's 4 and 8. What's this? Interesting, okay. Steps. And steps go in the other direction. Same data, but this is kind of curious. So I guess maybe, from top left corner. That would be up here. Bottom left, top left, interesting. And of course, no plot. Okay. So let's just come back. Let's come back over. Let's add a couple more things. We got a title, right? Let's come down here to. So what do we want? We want a grid. Okay. And you can also do things like you can change the grid type, you can change the color. Let's leave it basic right here, okay? So we got a main. So let's just take a look at the grid now. Yeah, I'm stalling for a little time to make the plot a little longer, okay? To make the video a little longer. Again, if you're in the background, you have a question about base R plots or any type of R plots, just drop a question inside the chat box. You can also drop it at the end of it. You can drop it inside of the in the comments underneath the video also. Okay. I'll just mention, if I hadn't done it, at the third part of this series, we're actually going to we're going to create some random stock data, then we're going to plot the basic plot, then we're going to go back and we're going to add these additional things in, the different colors and the thickness of the line, and X labs and Y labs and stuff like that. I'm going to show you a little bit of that tonight, but we're going to kind of put it all together. And I'm going to say, okay, there's actually going to be a fourth version of this, okay? The fourth version, we're actually going to plot some real data, and the data we're going to be looking at is some natural disaster data, okay, from my favorite site, All World in Data, right? That's the fourth version. This is, so, okay, so now you got the grid lines, okay? So we got a title. Let's change these to be more a little more descriptive. Look over here now. We're going to say comma XLAB equals, right? Okay. Let's run it again. Now you could do other things. Let's say you wanted to add a no. I'm going to save that for for part 3. That's linear. How to plot additional lines like linear regression lines. That's part 3. So be sure to come back for part 3 to understand how you can calculate and plot linear regression lines. Okay, and what command you used. Now, to a certain extent, this is like ggplot2. There's parts to this, and there's parts to ggplot2. The difference is some of the syntax for some of the base R plots is different. Okay, when you're dealing with ggplot2, it's a consistent. The syntax is the same for every single plot. That's not necessarily true in base R. Okay. I'll also mention, if you happen to be a Python guy and use Seaborn, this syntax should look a little familiar, because Seaborn's, I think Seaborn is based on base R plots, okay? Because we all know that Pandas wants to be tidyverse we all know that Python wants to be R when it grows up, all right? Okay. Okay. So now we got a title, we got grids, and we got X and Y labels, all right? With that, my friends, I'm going to go ahead and bring this third session to a close. It's a short one, 15 minutes. Actually, what we're going to do, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to try to install we're going to change this up here. We don't need this. But we're going to change this. And we should get an error message telling us that we have to install something else. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head. And it has to be installed as part of Quattro, by the way. Of course, I could be wrong, but it seems like that we had to install something. Oh, this is sort of interesting. Okay, yeah, we have to install something called, maybe you've already done it before. It seems like you have to install a version of latex. It may be XE latex, but you get a message that says, run this command, okay, to install this. Quattro space, it's like install X latex or something like that. You get a message then it'll tell you to do that. So now we got a simple, now we got the PDF version. Let's try this. Let's take the code, see if it'll maybe produce a table of contents for it. Okay, okay, so that didn't work. So you can't use. But here's the thing. I'm almost positive there is a table of contents you can put up here somehow. All right. But anyway, so there you have it. Part 2 of 4 now. Videos on doing basic data visualizations using nothing more than your basic R installation. Okay. Thanks so much for your time, folks, and we will catch you Monday night at midnight.